Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bourbon Note. I'm Greg.
I'm Ben.
And today, you know what, we're going to mix it up this week. We're drinking rye. All right, Ben, we've got a lot of questions. We just did an event and there were some people asking, how do you feel about ryes? And I have to be honest, we've had a few, we've done a few reviews, but I think we each have a couple of bottles that we should review. And so I think we dedicate this week that we do 3 videos a week. How about we do ryes?
Yeah. So, and it kind of worked out because when Greg came over to film today, he brought a rye. I didn't know he was going to bring one. I had one off of my shelf that I've been waiting to open.
Yeah.
So we're like, oh, we've got a couple of ryes here. Let's just do a rye week.
Yep.
Don't worry, the bourbon will be back next week, but we're going to do a few like common ryes because we have expanded our rye knowledge and palates.
And we want to learn more.
And we've been liking them. So we want to do some of the regular, kind of standard distillery rye offerings.
Yep.
So in that spirit, for this one, we have, bam, Elijah Craig Rye. So this one is 94 proof. It's just like, the regular Elijah Craig is 94 proof. Bought this in North Dakota. I've been seeing this on shelves in Minnesota, but I was kind of under the impression that this one wasn't really around Minnesota much. And I don't know if that's a recent thing or if I was just completely dead wrong about that, because ever since I bought this bottle, I see it everywhere now.
It must have just showed up,
I'm wondering if it did. I'm gonna have to ask a liquor store proprietor about that because
I recently saw it and I skipped it thinking, I don't know, it's another rabbit hole that you have to go down if you start buying
too many ryes.
Well, no, if you do, Elijah Craig's, then all of a sudden you got to get the rye also, and they're probably gonna have, single barrels and like.
Oh, you mean just the general Elijah Craig rabbit hole? Yeah. I mean, I've got like 6 of them.
Exactly.
It's not a full rabbit hole, I guess, but it's getting there for sure.
What happens if all of a sudden they start doing 3 releases a year of, higher.
Oh, like a barrel proof one or a 12-year aged one?
Of the ryes.
Oh, yeah. Then I'd be in trouble.
Yeah, exactly. So sometimes I try to avoid another line to, not have too many that I try to collect.
Yeah. Smells great.
Oh, wow.
It smells like a high rye bourbon. So I'm guessing this. I'm wondering if a lot of the standard bourbon brands that offer like Elijah Craig or, we've had the Russells and
the Wild Turkey. Yeah,
I wonder if their standard is to release it at the very, the 51% rye.
Yeah. That's our guess with a lot of these is, they have the like maybe 25, 30% rye bourbon. And then they just push that up to 51%. It's no longer legally a bourbon, but it sure still drinks a lot like a bourbon.
Yeah.
And so this is probably very Elijah Craigy.
Yeah, on the nose, I would say so for sure.
I am getting like a spice though. I'm guessing, it's definitely a high rye,
Yeah, it's got a high rye bourbon vibes to it. Let's go in for the palate here. Cheers.
It's such interesting. So ryes, for whatever reason, I hate certain flavors that some rye influences have on food. And I never get those same flavors on rye the whiskey, but I expect it always. But like rye whiskeys have a spice, but it comes with a sweetness.
This has a ton of sweetness.
Yeah, it really is unexpected.
This is coming across sweeter than a lot of bourbons we've had. And I'm loving it. I'm really, really liking that.
Yeah.
That's a great
but
blend of spice.
What's weird though is I feel a lot of bourbons are really sweet because of the corn and almost like a corn syrupy kind of like, sometimes it's too sweet. But this, it's like a different sweetness. It's a different flavor of sweet.
I like individual notes. It's got the caramel brown sugar notes, which are kind of standard for a bourbon.
Vanilla.
Yeah, but they're really like, it's almost like I'm picturing like baking cookies. You know, I've had that on bourbons before where it's like that brown sugar, vanilla extract, you know, when you get the dough, all like, it's got those kind of vibes to it, that level of sweetness. But then it's got the rye spice on top of it, which is really nice actually. So the couple of ryes that I have, I don't drink them as often just casually, you know, if I'm just having a pour at night.
Sure.
As I do the bourbons. Obviously I have a lot more bourbon than rye. This one I think is gonna be one I'm gonna start going to a lot.
This is actually really good.
Yeah.
But it does have a weird thing missing. And again, it's only my inexperience with ryes, but there's a flavor, and I'm gonna call it butter. And it's not exactly butter, but like the smoothness of a bourbon, somewhere in the middle of the flavor, it's missing on this because it's obviously not a bourbon.
Sure.
And it's a little bit like, I expect it and it's not there.
Really?
But it has a ton of the other flavors from a bourbon and a little bit of unique
Yeah, this is
spice that's unique to the rye.
I think of the ryes that we've done so far, we've done a few of them. This is probably my favorite one, I think.
I think at some point we need to do a flight and bring back the rare breed rye. And
well, the rare breed rye, I suppose that's in a different category. I mean, that one's the higher proof and stuff like that. As far as just like the base offering rye, this is really good. I'm very impressed by this. So now I'm looking forward to doing the next couple that we'll do this week. You know?
Yeah, I totally agree. And we picked some available stuff, but good stuff, you know? I don't think they're, super budget. Well, they're okay. Mid-level.
Yeah, I mean, this is $30.
Yeah. And I think the Knob Creek was maybe 40.
Yeah.
Maybe 50, I don't know.
I am very curious as to the whole Minnesota thing with this, because I remember when I went to California last year seeing this, and I was gonna buy one because I just hadn't recalled seeing it. And I bought this for that purpose. I was in North Dakota a couple weeks ago, and I picked one up, and now I see it in every liquor store I go into, and I'm like, has that always been there? Or, I don't know, maybe some Minnesota folks that are watching can comment on that.
Sure.
But yeah, I would definitely recommend this. This is a great intro to rye, I think.
I think so. It's a good step from bourbon. It's a lot of similarity, but then a little bit of difference too.
Yeah.
Very good choice.
Another home run from Elijah Craig. They just don't do anything wrong, in my opinion.
I don't know.
You know?
Not yet.
So yeah, if you're looking to dip your toes into the rye pool a little bit, great starting point, because it's not too high a proof, 94, but you're still getting really good flavors out of it. And yeah, it's definitely a good balance of the sweetness and the spice. There's high rye bourbons that I think drink much more rye forward than this does.
Totally agree.
So it's got a good balance. Now, if you're hardcore ride or die,
if you want a rye whiskey, there's probably better choices.
Yeah, then this one may be too bourbon-y for
Exactly.
you.
Yep. Totally
But we'll get into probably one of those this week as well. So
yeah.
Anyway, all right. Well, this has been Elijah Craig Rye on the Bourbon Note. I'm Ben.
I'm Greg. Thanks for watching. Share this video with a friend or an enemy. Cheers.